and demeaning way.
And already the suspension of emergency services impacting persons seeking urgent care. But the health minister says his job is to ensure the protection of Ghanaians in need of medical care as he demands they call off the strike.
I have absolutely no intention to disrespect any medical doctor or any health worker. That will be the last thing I will do. And so my humble appeal, and therefore let's call off the strike.
Also in this bulletin, the Financial Intelligence Center investigates McDan Group over alleged money laundering and has requested key information from the company as part of its ongoing probe. We have details for you. And a former MP is challenging the Judicial Services travel policy, describing it as absurd, which is central to the petition for the suspended Chief Justice's removal.
You can go on unlimited official travels with your spouse and child. Unlimited, 50, 100 times a year. But you can't go on a vacation on 2 occasions with these same people. How absurd. How absurd. It's unbelievable.
We'll also bring you details of the pushback by Gold Board CEO who insists the Chief Justice has no defense for paying out per diems and buying plane tickets for her family members from state funds for their holidays.
Vacation. What has that got to do with the state coffers? If you are sending your husband and your daughter on a vacation for holidays, why should we pay them per diem? And you, a Japanese, you are defending this.
Mubarak has the sports headlines.
Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr are ready to launch a €100 million bid for Ghana's midfielder Mohamed Kudus.
Foreign Affairs Minister promises to eliminate extortion and activities of middlemen known as girl boys as Ghana prepares to roll out a new chip-embedded passport application regime in the next 4 days.
We seize this opportunity to categorically state that the era of middlemen and unofficial agents operating within our passport offices is unequivocally over.
We have details of this and more in this bulletin with me, Hannah Odame. This is Joy News. We are independent, fearless, and credible. The details now. The Ghana Medical Association is urging the Minister of Health to abandon what it describes as theatrics and focus on the urgent challenges crippling public health care delivery across the country. The association's message follows doctors at the Tamale Teaching Hospital's decision to suspend emergency and outpatient services indefinitely. The industrial action follows what the doctors have described as the Minister of Health's demeaning and unacceptable treatment of one of their colleagues during a recent official engagement. Let me bring you details of the doctor's statement withdrawing the emergency services, and my colleague Kwekwa Sante brings us those details. So tell us exactly what the doctors are saying.
So according to this statement that were put out by the Doctors Association of Tamale Teaching Hospital, they are demanding an unqualified apology from the Minister of Health, Honorable Kwabena Minta Kando, and the Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Honorable Alhassan Suhini. And they say that apology should be rendered to Dr. Valentina Akwelpa and all doctors at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. They also will not resume the provision of emergency and outpatient services until they receive these appropriate apologies, and that they also demand constant flow of water through the taps for clinical work, stable electricity supply in the hospital, constant supply of oxygen, provision of consumable items such as gloves and other items, constant supply of reagents, and a host of other things, including 4 ventilators at the accident and emergency department, 4 ventilators at the wards, and 2 ventilators at the polyclinic emergency ward, and a host of other side demands that they were making in this.
Thank you very much, Kwekwa Sante. Well, the Ghana Medical Association is backing this decision by the doctors at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Here is General Secretary Dr. Richard Salome in an interview with my colleague Elton Bobe.
When the doctor in his constituency has been using his money to fund water for the emergency, has he, as the MP, in or out of government, fetched water for that emergency to function? So I think we must move away from this thing of trying to scapegoat people and then gaslight them subsequently and try to blame them for systemic issues that really are out of their view. Junior doctors working under him are saying that if their boss can be abused like this in public for something that they are totally is out of their control, then how is their own future going to be? So these are serious matters, and people are on the ground sacrificing their lives day by day, and putting their efforts in. You saw one of the nurses speak up for the head of department, telling you that even at the peril of when the exchanges were going on, telling you that as for his head of department, he even uses his personal money to buy water for that emergency. So this is not somebody, and he is a consultant, a senior specialist for that matter, and always at work putting his best in. So let's not demoralize health workers by trying to blame long-time systemic issues on them. Even granted they did wrong, into a boardroom. Tamale Teaching Hospital has a boardroom. You can address these issues in camera, punish people in camera to achieve the same effect. But not when there's this antagonistic shouting at him, trying to tell him not to talk and all that. So again, in their interrogation, they say if the ventilators were not available, what they should be doing something in the meantime. My brother, the meantime is that they are bagging the person. The meantime is that you need a ventilator for that person to be intubated and be on at that very moment. It is not that head of department's job to procure that ventilator. Neither is it any magic he can do between this. We can all sit around the table and solve the systemic issues. And I think there are better ways than going there with a camera and going around and it's creating a certain antagonistic posture
because
to help with. He cannot deny that the man feels threatened. He cannot deny that the man has been abused on social media too. He cannot deny that the man's competence was called to question in a very public and demeaning way.
Dr. Solomon, what's the way forward for the best way forward for you? What would be
the best way forward? Let us identify the systemic issues and see how we can solve them rather than trying to pin it on innocent people who are putting in their best shift under very trying conditions which are affecting people's mental health because they watch people die when they have skills and don't have the tools to work on them.
You heard the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Richard Selome there. Well, the Health Minister, Kwabena Minta Akando, is however calling on the doctors in Tamale to call off the strike.
For the past 2-3 days, I have been speaking to stakeholders in this sector. And please, it isn't everything we can put out there as leaders. I am prepared for us to come around the table and discuss whatever we need to discuss. And so my humble appeal to my wonderful medical doctors and health professionals at Tamale Teaching Hospital is that I am the first person to take care of your interest. And therefore, let's call off the strike and let's all regroup and strategize going forward. There are some of the things we can easily do with our internally generated funds. Please, let's confront the issues as they are. It is just not sustainable for government to keep donating equipment to health facilities, and at the end of the day, when the equipment are obsolete, we run back to government for money to either maintain or to replace this equipment. Once at least, even if we are not charging the requisite fees, we generate something small out of these machines. What happens to the money? There must be a new direction.
Well, the minister is currently presenting medical equipment to the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and my colleague Collins Frimpong is there for Joy News, and he joins us live on the phone lines. Collins, the minister says he has no intention to disrespect the doctors.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. And with regards to whether he will apologize or not, he has refrained from answering any questions with regards to the apology.
That at the end of the day, we are all serving the people of this country. Let it not be said that due to the scarce resources we have at our various health facilities, the poor man, the helpless Ghanaian's life has been sacrificed. My doors are widely opened. I'm not a perfect human being, but I listen. And I'm prepared to work with everybody in the sector. And so let's all come together and work together for the betterment of the health sector. It can happen to everybody. It happened to me. when I had an accident, the first place I was rushed to was Nyanyini District Hospital. I never imagined that I would one day be at Nyanyini District Hospital, but I was there. And so today, sitting at where I sit, I will contribute my quota to the development of this sector. I have absolutely no intention to disrespect any medical doctor or any health worker. That will be the last thing I will do.
Collins is still on the line. So, Collins, walk us through the types of equipment that the minister presented to the hospital.
Yeah.
Hello, Collins. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just walk us through the types of equipment that were presented to the hospital.
So the health minister donated or handed over 35 different medical equipment to the new CEO for the Tamale Teaching Hospital, that's Dr. Abdullahi, who is a senior official at the University for Development Studies, UDS. And the equipment that he included 3 Draga ICU ventilators, 6 Draga ICU cardiac monitors, and also Draga transport ventilators, and also 5 oxygen concentrators. Some of the major things that the doctors at the Tamale Teaching Hospital are demanding for are consumables, which include gloves, gowns, and also cotton, face masks, and assorted searchers. They are all part. These are some of the equipment that he has handed over to the CEO of the Tamale Teaching Hospital.
Okay. Thank you so much, Collins Frimpong. Let me take you live to the Northern Regional Capital now, where my colleague Martina Bugri brings us the latest on this. So, Martina, how is the suspension of emergency cases affecting patients who are in need of medical care?
It's already biting hard because those who came in this morning from far and near haven't been able to seek health care. Some have moved out to various places, but those who came with specialized cases where they need specialized doctors have had to stay, hoping that some magic would happen. Now, a while ago, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health met with the management of the hospital, and they are currently in a meeting with the doctors as well. They are hoping that something good will come out of it. They've also scheduled a meeting to meet with the entire staff at their conference once they are done with the doctors. And they are hoping that something probably good will come out of this meeting.
Thank you very much, Martina Bugri. We'll be staying updates with you for more on that. Well, meanwhile, Labour consultant Austin Garmer says the health minister did no wrong in sacking the former head of the Tamale Teaching Hospital.
The reality is this. Under the law, Section 30, Subsection 3, if the employer took notice that a worker has negligently done something that ultimately brought the hospital, in this case, on its knees, and that people are beginning to feel not having confidence in the facility, the employer has the right. Let's put the minister, maybe minister is the one creating the problem. The employer has the right, if the offense is such grievous offense, to dismiss the fellow without notice.
You heard the Labour consultant Austin Garmer. To other stories, the Financial Intelligence Centre, FIC, has launched an investigation into the McDonald Group over suspicions of money laundering. Sources familiar with the matter have confirmed. As part of the probe, the FIC has formally requested key documents and information from the company to aid its assessment of financial transactions linked to the business conglomerate. The investigation, still in its early stages, seeks to determine whether funds handled by the McDonald Group may have been involved in illicit financial activity. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me in the studio with more from this developing story. So let's start with this. What are we learning from all of this?
Well, so what we have in our custody is a letter dated April 22nd, 2025, and marked confidential. And this letter was sent to the managing director of McDonald Group. It outlines that the FIC, acting under the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 Act 1044, has received intelligence suggesting the company made and received large sums of money to and from various entities between January 2020 and December 2024. The FIC request falls under Section 36 and 37 of the Act 1044, which grants the authority power to demand financial data for the purposes of investigating suspected financial crimes. Now, the letter specifically requests McDan Group to provide the following: all electronic fund transfer conducted between January 1 and 2020 and December 31st, 2024, copies of checks issued to third parties during the same period, and of course details of the financial institution used for the payment. The FIC has asked the company to respond within 7 days as requested by Section 37 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act. The investigation, as we are told, is the latest in a series of high-profile financial probes led by the FIC and its current leadership.
Just confirm for us, is McDan Company aware of all of this?
Well, sources close to the CEO of McDan says that he was only copied this particular correspondence this morning, even though snippets of it had been in the media. He says already directed the audit section of the McDan Group to respond to this adequately whilst they are preparing to issue a statement on their response to this matter.
Thank you very much, Elton Broby there. Let's move on. And former MP for Second D, Andrew Ejapamesa, says the Judicial Services travel policy is absurd after the suspended Chief Justice was cited for paying per diems and buying plane tickets for her husband and daughter for holidays. Gertrude Tokonu, who has been suspended, insists she did no wrong and is backed by the former Energy Minister. Andrew Ejapamesa says it does not make sense that the state will fund family members to accompany the Chief Justice on official travels but make no such arrangements for holidays. He was speaking on the Super Morning Show.
At first sight, on the first appearance, on the face of it, so far as can be judged from the first disclosure, presumably, a litigating party is said to have a prima facie case when the evidence in his favor is sufficiently strong for his opponent to be called on to answer. If the evidence that has been adduced is not disproved, then it is deemed to be true.
Your point here was that the responses given by the CJ convince you, and so to you there can't possibly be a prima facie case.
Absolutely. And so it confirmed the position that the NPP, everybody else apart from the NDC, Exhibit DO2 is the policy on foreign travels by head of the judiciary and the Superior Court judges. Paragraph A9 provides that, quote, the Chief Justice shall undertake unlimited official travels with either his or her spouse or other person of his or her choice in a year, fully funded by the Judicial Service.
It says official, though. She's accused of going on a private.
On page 1 of Exhibit DO2, the Judicial Secretary clarified that as Chief Justice, I opted to utilize the authorization in paragraph 9 and paragraph 10 of the travel policy to travel with my spouse and my daughter during my 2 holidays taken in September 20. Justice.
So she's saying that she opted to use the provision for official trips for a personal trip.
You can go on unlimited official travels with your spouse and child. Unlimited, 50, 100 times a year. But you can't go on a vacation on 2 occasions with these same people. How absurd. How absurd. It's unbelievable.
Former Deputy Energy Minister Andrew Ejapamesa speaking on the Super Morning Show there. Well, National Communications Officer of the NDC and CEO of the Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, has criticized the response of the Chief Justice to the allegations. He's described it as unsatisfactory.
It says where the Chief Justice embarks on a personal or private foreign travel, he or she shall be accompanied by the security alone. The security alone, if it is a private trip. If it is an official trip, she can go with 2 other persons of her choosing, and it can be a spouse and a child. Now, let's look at the response of the Chief Justice. He says, I opted to utilize the authorization in paragraph 9 and paragraph 10 of the travel policy. What does paragraph 9 and paragraph 10 of the travel policy say? It is the privileges she has to travel with 2 people of her choosing on official travels. Now, she says that she utilized paragraph 9 and paragraph 10 of the travel policy to travel with my spouse and my daughter during my 2 holidays. The 2 holidays were those holidays official trips? Called vacation. What has that got to do with the state office? If you are sending your husband and your daughter on a vacation for holidays, why should we pay them per diem? And you, Ejapamesa, you are defending this.
Sami Jemfi is a National Communications Officer of the NDC and CEO of the Gold Board. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM and affiliates across the country. We'll take a short break here. When we come back, we have sports, and Foreign Affairs Minister promises to eliminate extortion and activities of middlemen known as Goro Boys as Ghana prepares to roll out a new chip-embedded passport application regime in the next 4 days.
We seize this opportunity to categorically state that the era of middlemen and unofficial agents operating within our passport offices is unequivocally over.
Where did I? Now I don't know when I just saw. Obiang, what's the chrome ha? And to want to say petrol super energizing dreams for motion. Hey boy.
Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I dey use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I dey go bed safe. It dey make my teeth white when it dey comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I dey show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste, formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, Sankofa Yenchi.
Kale, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, Dini Yamsa. And you stay soft concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. You send it this way you have it now. New units now. No, be a baby some was some demon in us. Say, Dini Yamsa. Fair quiet, yes, in Beer Association Ontario. Use stay soft and new units now. Nani boss to tap from cry. A fabric softener. And you near say, sir. Choose to stay soft. No, no, so say, you know. FDID a garden cratu yatu.
You're welcome back. We have sports now.
Yes, Hannah. So Ghana and West Ham forward Mohamed Kudus has been linked with a €100 million move to Saudi Pro League side Al Nassr. Now the club made the approach for Kudus back in January, but they were not successful. Now Kudus has a Saudi-specific release clause of £120 million, but Al Nassr are confident that West Ham will accept a fee close to that amount for the 24-year-old. And before I go, good news for Arsenal fans because Thomas Partey could end up staying beyond the season. The Gunners are in talks with the Black Stars midfielder for a 2-year renewal.
Did you say 100 million?
Yeah, why? Should he play for West Ham or he should go to Saudi? If you were to be Kudus, what would you do?
I would prefer West Ham.
You prefer West Ham without... Okay, anyway.
Let's move on. All new applicants for Ghanaian passports starting from next Monday, April 28th, will be issued with a chip-embedded document. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa explains the move forms part of a 5-point plan aimed at transforming Ghana's passport application regime in a bid to eliminate corruption and other activities of middlemen. There's more in the following reports.
As part of moves to improve service delivery for passport applicants while safeguarding the integrity of Ghana's travel document, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says his outfit is ready to roll out a chip-embedded passport regime.
This modernization effort is designed to enhance broader security, reduce identity fraud, and streamline international travel for Ghanaians. As we roll out our cutting-edge chip-embedded passport, we seize this opportunity to categorically state that the era of middlemen and unofficial agents operating within our passport offices is unequivocally over. We strongly advise all citizens to directly interact with our official channels and adhere to established procedures when applying for or renewing their passports.
The modernization plan comes amidst growing concerns about the activities of middlemen and other challenges that have crippled attempts at making passport service delivery seamless in Ghana. But the minister says that will no longer be the case.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the avoidance of doubt, our resetting Ghana passport reforms can be itemized as follows. There are 5 reforms that we are rolling out on the 28th of April.
Foreign Affairs Minister ending that report by Blessed Suga, who joins me in the studio. First, tell us the new features of this new passport application.
Well, Hannah, so you want to look at this more or less as, an enhanced security feature, state of the art, because there are over 100 overt and covert features making it virtually impossible to forge this new document. So that's the excitement coming on the back of this. It's chip embedded, polycarbonate, and then the indication is that it has some biographical data page that guarantees integrity. So that's the essence of this all new feature, and I'm sure that many of us in the studio would want to have a feel of the new
but what about those
chip embedded passport?
What about those who had applied earlier and waiting for their passports?
Too bad for you, Hannah, if you have done that, because the indication is that it's a separate system rolling out on April 28th. So all pre-existing applicants will have the old booklet, just like myself and yours. But if you wish to, voluntarily substitute that, again? Just go through the process with the same details and you'd have
briefly, any reforms accompanying this passport application process?
So widely, the minister is looking at courier services that will now deliver passports, because the queues and the numbers usually at these passport application centers are too much, a reason for which he believes that they will form part of the 5 points plan to transform Ghana's passports regime.
I think he said that as his version
as
well.
Indeed.
Thank you
so
very much.
We're looking out for that.
Blessed Suga there. Now, 3 months after a devastating fire ravaged the Canamanto market, traders there are slowly recovering from the disaster. Business has officially resumed, and Sarah Mensah went there for today's edition of our fire series from the Canamanto market.
Traders at the Canamanto market are rebuilding after a devastating fire, but concerns remain over basic amenities like fire extinguishers, water and electricity. The traders say their safety and livelihoods are at risk due to poor lighting, lack of water and unreliable electricity. They appeal for urgent action to ensure a safe working environment.
Fire service for say dachi BBC a ombenya nsuo di aye adwuma enso omunya hwee
they should bring water to the market to make it easier for fire service vehicles to quickly access water to extinguish fires in case of outbreak. We have space in the market, but our leaders have closed all the spaces.
Say bisa omo say fence ECG for the light beba, ECG for the light beba 2.5 months
na you say yenyapo.
We need poles. Our leaders promised to bring them, but they never came. We are looking up to our leaders to come to our aid because we really need help. We hope the incident that happened doesn't repeat itself.
Sarah Mensah brought us today's edition of our fire series from the Canamanto market. And from here we come to Derek and Jackie. They have the trends. What's trending today?
Well, a lot is trending. Yesterday I came here to talk about the fact that the health minister was trending. Yeah. Well, he's still trending after the donation that he's making to the Tamale Hospital. Mafria says that show workings, you blast them, then you provide equipment. I can live with that. Thaniel says that. So if this was possible, why go all the way there to shout at under-resourced doctors with cameras in their faces? It took a strike from the hospital for their pleas to be heard, something that could have been handled behind closed doors. So a lot of people expressing their thoughts on this on social media.
Arsenal also played Crystal Palace last night. And Hannah, guess who was in Arsenal in the stadium for the match. Our very own sugar daddy, Kiddy, was there. And if you know Kiddy so much, you know that he's a big Arsenal boy. Yeah. And so it was a dream come true, talking about his new album in an Arsenal stadium, a team he supported ever since he was a kid. It was a big one for him.
Unfortunately, he didn't go with Fred Smith.
Yeah,
thank you so much
more
trending
on social media.
I think you can find all these on myjoyonline.com as well as on your social media on our social media platforms. That's it for the news with me, Hannah Odame. Dr. Mensa Otabil comes up next with Living Word.